Today on the 15-mile rural route, it's the Hoka One One Clifton 7. How will this one fare up on the test bed? Will it cushion the blow or cause me blisters? Friends, I'll let you know. Before we get started, if this is your maiden voyage here with us at EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews, please consider hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell below for notifications of when we launch those new videos. I would be most grateful. The Hoka One One Clifton 7. This one in my UK size 11.5 clocks in at 300 grams, 10.6 ounces. I measured it up as well, and this one's about 30 centimeters, so it's a little longer in length than a few of the other shoes I've been utilizing recently. So a 15-mile effort today, 24.14 kilometers. That gets me up to about 50 miles for the week, or about 80 kilometers. So return to the higher mileage weeks from about 8 weeks ago. That was 2 months ago before summer happened and my little lad Fergus appeared on the scene. Can't believe he's 4 weeks old already. It's madness. A nice reasonable pace today of 7 minutes 51 seconds per mile, which is about 4 minutes 53 per kilometre. Got in just under the 2 hours, 1 hour 57.47. Did stop around about 8.5 miles to have a chat with my mum. She fortunately brought out some more water for me, which was much needed. Glad she's doing okay. Hi mum. Everybody in the comments say hello to the original Mrs. Basinski. Somewhat overdressed for the run today. I wore the long sleeve Nike top, which I really didn't need. I think it was about 16 degrees out there in the end, and not really needed. I felt much cooler in the house when I got outside. First mile I realised the error of my ways. Though I've got to be honest, there was a really, don't know what this is. Got to be honest though, there was quite a stern northwesterly wind coming in at certain parts of the run. There's about 16 miles an hour wind actually. Wasn't expecting that. Kind of cropped up around the corner and surprised me. Did hamper my initial progress a little bit, certainly around about 3 miles, a bit of an incline there, which is quite exposed. Also around about mile 8 as well, it pushed me back a little, but I stood firm. Powered by pizza and cookies too. Decent elevation on this route, which is the typical route I'll take out and test shoes on the long run. 805 foot elevation. Almost as tall as me, and I kept things mostly within that moderate sort of heart rate and between the endurance and tempo pace zones. Nice to see I was more in the endurance and tempo pace zones and keeping the heart rate down, so obviously fitness is going up. Enough about me though, how did the shoes perform? So up to this point I've mainly used the Hoka One One Clifton 7 as a daily shoe really for nice slower paced recovery efforts. Keeping it around about 8 minutes a mile in these up to this point. I think I'm now at about 90 miles in them, so expect the 100 mile review very soon. Feels pretty good at that figure really. It's not a shoe I think I want to run any sort of speed work in. It's just too much cushion going on. There's just too much going on in the midsole for me and this shoe for those type of efforts. I got loads of other shoes that are better for speed work, but I was very keen to see how it performed on a much longer distance effort. Up to mile 10, I think things were looking really good actually in the shoe. No noticeable issues whatsoever with the upper. Things stayed nice and stable and consistent in the lockdown over the top of the foot, though whilst taking a bit of a tight turn in the shoes, I did experience a little bit of discomfort in my right foot. It was in the arch actually, right about here, and it was really hampering my foot strike for a little while, maybe a good half mile or so before it seemed to sort itself out. Sadly that manifested itself once again around about 13 miles, but this time I managed to pinpoint the issue. I think over time where your foot expands when you're doing a long run, the EVA section of the arch here was just digging into my foot. I think the insole had shifted around a little bit and it was really quite uncomfortable. It seemed to be pushing through the very edge of the insole. Just a slight movement of that insole was enough to cause the problem. It was kind of just poking over the top of the insole there and into the arch of my foot. Not nice. Again, a turn or two later and it seemed to sort itself out, but not something I really wanted to be messing around with, certainly towards the end of a long run. Gotta say the cushion around about the 13th mile really did feel quite tough. I don't mean Fonzie tough or Mr. T tough, I mean like a cheap steak or mutton tough. Little response back from the shoes at that point. They just seemed to start to bottom out. I'm not really sure about this EVA stuff in here. Just feels maybe a little outdated. So many other nicer, more comfortable shoes that I've worn recently up to that point. The legs were still feeling thirsty for more at that stage. Yes, the elevation at round about mile 12 or 13 of that route is pretty testing, but the descent afterwards just wasn't comfortable at all in this shoe. Normally I really enjoy that bit because you've suddenly got some downhill and you can let it rip. Burn some dust. And I've got to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in the midsole from that aspect. And in the back of my mind I was thinking, is that insole gonna move around again? Outsole wise, no major issues really. Good grip across the paths, the country roads and the gravel terrain today. I only detected a few stowaway stones that had managed to get into the outsole fins. Only a couple of ridge riders here. Reasonable grip on some grass sections as well today. But I've got to be honest, I was glad to reach the checkered flag at 15 miles and get the shoes off. And the edge of my right foot was also very keen to get these shoes off too. The award and prize of a very large blister on my big toe was what I got for this run. And it has to be said that right now it's still a tad painful too. That upper wall rubbing just around here was not pleasant. But a decent effort, and I'm happy to get back to doing the long runs once again after a couple of months absence really from my training schedule. So good up to a certain point in the long run, but a little bit disappointing with the cushion towards the end. I'm going to keep this one as a daily sort of shoe, keeping the mileage a bit lower. I think that's where it really fits for me. Just almost too much EVA there, just too much foam, too much weight. Let me know guys in the comments, what are your long run shoes right now? Which shoes are taking you on those long range road trips? Are there any long run shoes that just haven't worked out for you? Let me know in the comments below. A musical interlude now. Today on the long run, 2 albums. One was Johnny Marr's The Messenger. You guys know about that one, I featured it many times before. But then I had a playlist for the second half, which is all tracks from Tame Impala. All my favourite tunes there, really does work out. It's great running music. Quite thoughtful as well. Ended up thinking about a lot of things that have been going on recently. Elephant is a really great tune. I really like The Moment as well, which I think is from Tame Impala's 3rd album. From the latest album, It Might Be Time's a real favourite. Just some really nice paces there that were just right for the long run today. So I do urge you to check out some stuff from Tame Impala. That's about all for me for today guys. A bit of R&R required right now. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure, if you haven't done so already, to hit that subscribe button and click the bell for those notifications of when we launch those new videos. Really helps the channel out too if you give this video a thumbs up like, and of course, share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you